Welcome to Zimwaves TV. Today we're diving into a wild story from Zimbabwe's history, the presidential goat scheme. Picture this: a plan to distribute over 632,001 goats to underprivileged households, promising prosperity. But instead of helping the needy, leaders Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimambe turned an $87 million initiative into a scandal of luxury cars and mansions. And these guys aren't new to scandal. They're also involved in the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission ZEC debacle, which implicates the president. Is the goat scheme scandal a diversion from the ZDC scandal? Join us as we unravel this web of greed and audacity, exposing a circus of corruption where truth is stranger than fiction. Today, we've got a story so wild, so goat-astrophically ridiculous, you'd think it was a plot straight out of a comedy flick. Buckle up as we unravel the scandal of the presidential goat scheme, where it seems the only thing multiplying faster than goats are the government's corruption scandals. It's a tale so tangled in deceit and greed that even the most imaginative fiction writer would struggle to concoct it. But hey, reality in Zimbabwe often outdoes fiction, doesn't it? So hold on to your hats, folks, because this story is about to take you on a roller coaster ride through the absurd. Now, picture this: goats. Yes, those humble, munching, bleating creatures known for their unassuming charm and unparalleled ability to eat just about anything. They're usually symbols of fertility and prosperity. But in Zimbabwe, they've taken on a whole new role. Thanks to our ever-resourceful government, goats have now become the unlikely mascots of a multi-million-dollar corruption scheme. Yes, folks, you heard that right. We're talking about the USD 87 million goat scheme scandal. It's a tale so bizarre, it's got more twists than a telenovela. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and prepare for a story that's juicier than a Zimbabwean summer. These goats, intended to be the salvation of underprivileged households, have instead become the emblem of yet another scandal, reminding us that in the circus of Zimbabwean politics, the clowns are running the show. Here's how it all went down. President Mnangagwa, in what initially seemed like a noble, or should I say bleat-worthy effort, launched a project to supply goats to underprivileged households. Sounds great, right? Imagine thousands of goats spreading joy across the nation. But then, enter Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimambe, the not-so-trusty sidekicks in this goat saga. These gentlemen were tasked with the Herculean mission of supplying a whopping 632,001 goats over 5 years. Yes, you heard that number correctly. 632,001 goats. It sounds like the start of a bad joke, doesn't it? But here's where things take a nosedive into the absurd. Our two protagonists seem to have taken a liking to something far greener than goats: cold, hard cash. Instead of fulfilling their goat-delivering duties, they saw an opportunity to live out their wildest, most luxurious dreams, leaving the goats and the needy families high and dry. Instead of delivering the goats as promised, Mpofu and Chimambe embarked on a shopping spree that would make even the most seasoned shopaholic blush. We're talking about houses, luxury cars, and all the trappings of a lavish lifestyle. The goats, meanwhile, were nowhere to be seen. It makes you wonder, did the goats get stuck in traffic? Were they held up at customs? Or perhaps, and this seems more likely, they were simply too camera shy to make an appearance. Whatever the case, the goats never made it to their intended homes, and the funds were mysteriously redirected into the personal coffers of our goat-loving duo. It's as if they were staging their own version of The Great Escape, but instead of tunneling out of a prison, they tunneled straight into the public treasury. And speaking of our dynamic duo, Mpofu and Chimambe, these names might ring a bell for our loyal listeners. That's because these characters are no strangers to the scandal spotlight. You might remember them from another star-studded scandal, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC debacle. Yes, it seems these guys have more appearances in scandals than actual movie stars. It's almost as if they have a subscription service for corruption. Today, goats. Tomorrow, who knows? Maybe llamas? Stay tuned for the next episode of their ongoing soap opera. Each new chapter in their saga is more far-fetched than the last, making you wonder if there's a limit to their audacity, or if they're just getting started. Now, let's dive into the numbers for our mathematically inclined listeners. The Treasury, in a move that can only be described as generous to a fault, advanced USD 40 million to kickstart the project. Subsequent transfers brought the total to a staggering USD 7.7 million at interbank rates. That's a lot of moolah, folks. Yet, despite these hefty sums, only a handful of goats ever made it to their new homes. It makes you wonder, were these goats gold-plated? Diamond encrusted, perhaps? Because seriously, where did all that money go? It's a financial mystery that Sherlock Holmes himself would struggle to solve. Maybe these funds were spirited away to a secret island where goats live in luxury, sipping on fine grass cocktails and lounging by the pool. As the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission digs deeper into this quagmire, they're charging our goat-loving friends with theft of trust property and money laundering. The investigation reads like a soap opera script, full of unexpected twists and turns. Except here, the stakes are real, and the punchlines, sadly, come at the expense of the public. It's like watching a tragic comedy of errors unfold in real time, where the joke, unfortunately, is on us, the citizens. We're left wondering how many more acts this circus has before the final curtain falls, and whether we'll ever see justice served or just another rerun of the same old show. It seems Zimbabwe's government is running a masterclass on how not to handle public funds. Just when you think they've hit rock bottom, they manage to dig even deeper. From the Zeke scandal to the goat scheme fiasco, it's a never-ending parade of incompetence and greed. The only thing consistent about this circus is its ability to surprise us with new lows. You might think that after so many scandals, there would be some attempt at redemption, some effort to restore public trust. But no, they seem content to continue down this path of perpetual disgrace, leaving the rest of us to pick up the pieces. So, dear listeners, as we wrap up today's episode of Blowing the Horn, Exposing the Circus, remember to keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. In this country, truth really is stranger than fiction. Stay tuned, stay informed, and maybe, just maybe, consider investing in goats. They seem to be a hot commodity these days. After all, if there's one thing we've learned, it's that in Zimbabwe, even the most unassuming creatures can become the centerpiece of a grand spectacle of corruption. Thank you for joining us on this roller coaster of a story. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and give us your thoughts on this scandal. Until next time, keep laughing to keep from crying. Bye for now, and that's a wrap. Catch you all next time on Blowing the Horn.